Let me show you the super easy way I love to make chicken enchiladas de mole called enmoladas. Okay, I'm going to season 2 chicken breasts with this garlic salt pepper blend, and I'm also going to add some onion powder. Season your chicken how you prefer. Here I'm going to add it into a very small crock pot. You could boil your chicken, just cook the chicken how you like because we're going to be shredding it. Okay, going in. I'm going to go over it with a little more seasoning. And here I'm adding a little more onion powder. Now I'm going to add a ready-made container of Doña Maria brand mole sauce. And I like to doctor it up with a little bit of chicken bouillon powder. Ultimately, I think I added a teaspoon here. I'm going to add a tablespoon of chopped chipotle peppers in adobo sauce. Here I'm going to add a little bit of peanut butter. Sometimes I add sun butter, but my youngest son is not eating this, so a little bit of peanut butter going in. Here I'm going to add just a small square of Mexican chocolate. Ultimately, you'll want to add like an ounce, or it really is to your taste. So I'm just going to cover with a lid, set it to high, and let it cook until it's done. It's going to take about 3 hours. Once your chicken is done, you'll want to remove the pieces into a bowl because like I said earlier, we are going to shred this. And just keep your crock pot, if you're using this method, on the warm setting because you want to make sure that the mole sauce that's left in the crock pot stays warm. We'll be using that. Once you shred the chicken, you can taste it. If you want to add salt or seasoning, adjust to your preference. I'm going to set that aside, and I'm also going to crumble some queso fresco. So when you're making enmoladas, you can garnish and fill how you prefer. So I'm going to prep the corn tortillas, and I'm just going to add a little cooking oil, and you'll want to give them a light fry. You don't want them crispy, but you just want them cooked through or warmed through so they're pliable and they keep their texture when you go to sauce them. So I do this all the time, so you'll see me using my fingers, but you'll want to be careful doing this. Also, I can say with all honesty that I probably make enchiladas weekly, at least once a week. Okay, so after you go through several of these, I'm probably going to be able to get like a dozen. I'm using actually the smaller taco street style tortillas. So I'm going to do several of these. And then you're going to dunk them in the mole sauce in the crock pot carefully. And now you'll want to put it on a plate, and as you create these and assemble these, you just sort of plate them up and hand it to the person waiting in line, and that's what I'm doing. So shredded chicken goes in. You can add melty cheese if you want. I'm going simple and just dunk the tortilla, plate it up, fill it with the shredded chicken, and then you garnish. You just hand the plate over and let people garnish how they like. I'm going for a simple garnish today, but if you want to add fresh shredded lettuce, tomato or cabbage, onion, avocado, the toppings are endless. So I'm going to add a ladleful of that mole sauce. Here I'm just going to add some Mexican sour cream, and then I'm going to crumble a lot of that queso fresco on top. There's so many ways to garnish this, by the way. Sometimes, like I said, we load it up with salsa, fresh lettuce, onion, tomato, avocado. So good. And now it's time to dig in. Oh, and I also like to garnish with some toasted sesame seeds, and it's so good. This is a very simple dinner, but it's very filling, and it's one of my favorites. For those of you that have followed me for a long time know that I love making enchiladas all sorts of ways, whether it's completely from scratch, homemade, lazy, quick and easy. I eat it all. So I hope you give this recipe a try. I hope you like it, and thanks for watching.